All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today and welcome to AWAAI's very first roundtable. The topic for today is from brain power to bot power. What are we really trading? So this roundtable was sparked by the MIT research paper, Your Brain on ChatGPT. I think it was Your Brain on ChatGPT, accumulation of cognitive debt when using an AI assistant for essay writing tasks. So today, let's discuss how generative AI isn't just changing the way we work, but maybe the way we think as like tools like ChatGPT become second nature to our daily lives. They help us move faster, write better, access information. But what happens when convenience starts to reshape cognition? Today, we are not here to debate whether AI is good or bad. We're here to ask questions. What are we outsourcing without realizing? What mental habits are we building or breaking? And what does it mean as thinkers, creators, decision makers to share the load with the machine? So for the format today, what we'll do is we'll kick it off with like a word cloud. And then we'll have a one question Slido survey. And once we get through that, we'll break into two rooms. On one room, we will have the topic of cognitive and creative impacts. And for the other room, we'll be talking about ethics, power, and psychological trade-offs. So both rooms will spend about 15 to 20 minutes each, and then we'll come back to the main meeting and kind of share our discussions and see like whiteboard it if we can. So that's the format. And with that, Uvika, why don't you kick us off with the slider or the word cloud?
Yes, folks. So I'm going to put in a link here. So if you can be so kind to click on that link and just type in, can you guys all see the survey? Yeah? Okay.
It's coming
All right.
up.
It's coming up. All right. And then what I'm going to do on my end is I'm going to bring this guy up so we can see. So let me know when you can see it, and then I'm just going to display on the screen. All right, so let me just quickly share so we can see it live as we are presenting. I like it. Creativity, aura, partnership, discovery.
Transition. Anything else? Anyone else? How many of us are here? We are 12.
Yeah.
Capacity.
Hmm.
Everything has a positive connotation, which is good.
I know.
Shallow.
uh, Unique to every person. Okay, that's interesting. Discovery, quick resources. Hmm. We have one more coming.
What was
Okay.
it? What was the new one? Enhanced human intelligence.
Yeah, I like that. So that's interesting. So it seems that at least to both Padmini and me, it appears that it's quite positive. So which is good news. All right. So with that, Padmini, do you want to kick off the thing? And let me just
Let's
stop
do
sharing.
Yuvika, let's do the question slider.
The second one as well? Okay, so let me just activate that one. I think it should be the same one. Do you see the next one on the same link? Do you see the next question where it says, why do you rely on ChatGPT? Yes, okay, so let me share that as well. So, let's go back.
I think we can see it.
Yeah, hang on. I had stopped sharing and now I will share again so we can see the responses. So thankfully, nobody said I don't use it, which is fine. If you don't, that is fine too. Nobody's going to judge you here. So that's the best part about this group. Okay, so most people are using it for writing and editing, learning new topics. I like that. People are using it to enhance their knowledge, brainstorming ideas. Good. I want to know who's using it for other, what are those other use cases? Uh, okay. So I think, Padmini, we have like a good
Yeah,
sense. It seems, yeah. Okay, perfect.
So I'm throwing the questions in chat, and like we said, we are going to split into two rooms, and we are going to, let me just share it. So these are the questions that we are going to be talking about today across two rooms, and we are randomly going to split. So let's, how many of us
Okay.
again? 11. So I
I hope
think,
you and I don't end up in the same room.
yeah, then I'll just move to another.
Yeah, all right. So let
So
me just
my
take
room
off the
will do
record.
cognitive and creative impacts, and Yuvika's room will do ethical, emotional, and social dimensions. All right. And these are the three questions that we are going to talk about, and then we'll whiteboard it.
All right, so it's 8:12. So Padmini, should we target to come back like around 8:30, 8:35, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, let's go. Assign automatically to. Okay. Okay, so good thing is, all right, so we have good. All right, let's go. Open. Oops. So Padmini is in that one, and I'm gonna join. Okay. Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So who wants to take the lead and want to start jotting down? Because ultimately what needs to happen is we need to report back in about 15, 20 minutes, and somebody needs to basically be responsible for collating the input and then actually, share it with the group. So you'll be basically whiteboarding. And Akash, do you want to take the responsibility?
I'm actually outside, so I just
Okay, no worries.
yeah,
No
I don't have.
worries.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Sherry, do you want to? Or
uh,
Niba, Elena, who wants to? Sherry, you're on mute. Don't worry.
Why
So,
can't we just use a note taker?
it's fine. So let's go. So did everybody get the questions? Okay, so for us is we are the ethical, emotional, and social dimensions group. So the first question is, it says, who gets to design how we think about and how we think with AI and what values are embedded in that design. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm taking notes, Uvika.
Oh, Sherry, you're the best. I love you. Okay.
Is it we can get a question here, Uvika?
Yeah, let me actually
Or it's
paste
the
it
chat.
again.
Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
don't worry. I'll paste it again. Here you go. So that's us who gets to design how we think with AI and what values are embedded in that design.
I think that depends who you're doing it for. If you're an employee and you're responsible for a project, I guess the assignment would lead you. If you're an entrepreneur, you design to create the product that's going to keep you in business. If you're doing it just like I use it often to support grants and other projects, it's me driving it to get the best results across many platforms that are not typical in the way that people would have derived at the decisions of how to represent things for business or whatever. And I think that's really what cuts it. You guys are all still in the working hardcore, probably showing up every day to a job, right? Is everybody on this group all show up to a job every day? So
Most
your
of them.
responses would be important, because I told you mine. I'm freelance and I use it in many different ways. So, and that's me driving it, not the AI. Although AI does drive me sometimes in ways I did not expect.
Oh, I love that. Thanks so much, Shari. That's very, very helpful. Who wants to go next?
Maybe I can go next. So what I think is, to answer that question, who gets to design how we think with AI? And I think these are like the core like software engineers and AI scientists who have to like think about like, how to like build the AI, because in my domain of like breast cancer diagnosis, we build an AI model, but at the end of the day, like, it's the doctors who use the AI. I often see like a discordance among the computer scientists and domain experts, not just in the field of medicine, but in every other field as well. So I do believe that there has to be like a separate bodies for regulatory frameworks and ethical practices and all that, but it has to like come down to core software engineers and AI scientists who actually build that. They have to get a fair understanding of the regulatory practices as well. So I think like, at a very like execution level, it's the person who codes like these AI like, frameworks. They have to understand like whatever like ethical frameworks, regulatory frameworks, like what should go into that system. So
Very interesting. So you're saying that the folks who are basically in the weeds building, they need to understand the importance of these regulatory frameworks
absolutely.
and basically abide by them so that they're not sitting in a black box themselves, right? While they're designing these
Exactly.
black box systems. So that's actually very, very interesting. I really really like that take. And very curious to hear Olena, Tammy, Nibha, your take on that. Or,
Yeah,
what is your take on that question? Akash had a very interesting one and Sherry had something very interesting.
I think I totally agree with Akash as well, and say that I mean, it's the corporate company developers, right? The users, based on the user, you basically define that. Whether it's a government or policies, we have to make sure that it's ethical. So that's my take. It's totally on the users and the companies and the customers based on that we design.
Olena, do you want to add anything to that?
Agree with the last comment. It basically has to complement the processes and the thinking of whatever your current environment is. The way it's going to be designed based on what the task is. I'm not sure if this makes any sense, but it has to be designed in a way that it complements the environment you're working in, the thinking the people are using, so that it helps rather than disrupt.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I liked, so if I heard this right, so you said it needs to complement the use, right? Where it's going to be used, who's going to be using it, right? So that's great. Tammy, are you there? I didn't get to say hi. Hi, welcome back.
Hi, I'm here. Sorry, I can't have my video on right now.
That's okay. Don't worry. Did you get the question? It's the question number one. Ethical.
Yeah, I saw the question. I have a lot of mixed opinions on it. There's a part of me that says we're almost too late because these
Mhm.
large language models have already been built and the genie's out of the bottle, and now we have to kind of roll back a little bit as best we can. So, there's my negative point of view there. We're too late, and how do we kind of make adjustments. The other more optimistic side says, it's all of us that need to convene and work together. It's not just the data scientists, it's the actual users, it's the person or groups impacted. Everyone has to work together and collaborate to understand their role, because it's a system, versus one person dictating or driving what we should think or feel, or how we should, work with the result. So anyway, I know that was a little all over the board, but
It was amazing. It was not all over the board. It was perfect. So I like that, and I'm very much, I think, on that track as well. I feel that it's everybody. And interestingly, for me, I like to think positively. While you're right that some damage has already been done, but maybe it's never too late, right? Because the systems, when they were designed, right, there's still an opportunity to fix it, right? These systems get tested, and systems need to be continuously evaluated, right? And whenever like the new models are coming out, there's red teaming that's happening, right? So for me, I'm like, okay, there is still hope. So yes,
there
while
is
some
hope.
damage is done, right? So yeah, that's good. No, but I love everything that you all added. So I think we are doing really good on time. Are we ready to move on to the next question, which says, how does relying on AI shape our confidence in our own thinking or decision making? So who wants to go and provide their amazing answer or thoughts to this question? How does it shape, the confidence, right? And how you are thinking, and how does it affect your decision making?
So I'll lead off at number one again. Because of my age, because I've had more work experience than probably all of you just because of age, I will tell you that AI has been able to take my very creative entrepreneurial side and rebuild it in a confidence level comparable to how I felt in my 30s when I was taking on many projects all at the same time. And so the AI, in terms of shaping my confidence, my prompts are getting better, and therefore those prompts builds my confidence, which leads to better decision making in terms of looking at the output to say, I've created something that actually is going to sell or get a grant. So that's my take on that.
Interesting. I like that, Sherry. Awesome. Okay, who wants to go next? How has working, with these AI systems, shaped your confidence and the way you make decisions, and how it affects your thinking?
I can go next, Uvika.
Yeah.
So as a computational pathologist, again, I'm talking about my domain, but I think the same holds good for other domains as well. So pathology is so complicated, wherein, and US is facing a shortage of pathologists, and not just US, actually, all over the world. So what that means is every doctor is now signing out more cases than they could handle, which will lead to like so much of misdiagnosis, doctors not agreeing with one another, not just for cancer, but other diseases as well. So how is it helping in my field is using AI to do some of the routine detection within a tissue, and doing quantifications that would have otherwise taken a clinician maybe hours together. So it's really sort of helping, not just like being able to sign out more cases, but also bringing doctors to a common platform and reducing disagreement between the clinician. Like I was recently part of a study wherein we had a pathologist from US, from Europe, from India, all of them looking at the same case, and initially they did not agree with the diagnosis that they made, but then we included AI features and highlighted those features in the same tissue, and now they agree to a same diagnosis. So I think it's creating sort of a communication platform to reduce disagreements between clinicians. And not just that, like, trying to like reduce misdiagnosis for cancer and other disease steps. So it's having a very huge impact in, in medical diagnosis field.
So you were saying that this is impacting your field rather in a positive manner, right? Because
Absolutely.
there
Yeah.
is shortage of folks, so there is less burnout, right?
Yes.
Because there
Yeah.
is AI, and provided when people are looking, they might have different perspective, right? They're looking at things from a different lens. But now when you add the AI features, there is additional information that's available, which
Yeah.
is allowing folks to come to a decision and to a unilateral decision, right? You would
Yeah.
say at the same time. But what's very interesting here is, do you feel, and again, this is like playing devil's advocate, that do you feel that it is influencing, people? Because sometimes disagreement is also healthy, right? But is it forcing us to think, is AI kind of converging our thinking and, forcing and influencing, and it shouldn't be doing that, right?
Yeah. So I think again, this field, which is digital pathology, is taking baby steps towards like AI revolution. So I think we are starting very small to detect, like, say, necrotic regions within an image or tumor regions within the image, wherein where to a naked eyes they might have completely missed it just because it's at a very high resolution. So the AI is not making decisions for you, but it's sort of like highlighting those features, and it's up to you how you put those features together to make a decision. So in that way, it's helping tremendously. And yeah, again, from the discussions that I have had, the doctors are actually liking using AI to doing some routine task for which they might have taken hours, and they would have rather spent that time in looking at difficult cases. So
Okay, now that's actually very helpful. So I like that. I hope that they're not falling asleep on the wheel.
yeah.
And just going, I was like, okay, now AI can do all the work for me, and I don't have to
No,
like, use my head. But no, that's actually very,
no.
very helpful. I like
Yeah.
that. I'm happy to hear. Nibhat, Tammy, who wants to go next?
Um, I can share my thoughts.
Yeah.
So since then, I mean, I love AI and I love ChatGPT. It looks like it's just a best friend. You can ask any questions you have from day to day, like you're being a mom, searching for any party planning or going for a trip. You get the full itinerary, and even looking for any college list or searching for any college. Anything. I think I just find it very useful. Yeah, we are totally, I mean, relying on that. I feel
So
like
you
I'm
feel,
less
yeah,
into Google rather than ChatGPT.
but do you feel that it has affected your confidence on how you make decisions? You feel that it's made it faster, and like, how do you feel that
It,
now when you have to look for college lists, that hey, I know. So like, what is your take on that?
I feel like it's really comprehensive, and in it, the answers which we receive, it's all very straightforward and compact. So I do feel confident based on what the answers I receive
So
compared to
you,
in Google. Yeah.
so it's like a research pal for you, right? That it has increased the way you make decisions, right? And it's increased your confidence. So that's really great. Tammy.
Yeah, to echo, Niba, what you just said, I feel similarly. In the word cloud, I had written capacity. And what I meant by that was AI has really helped me expand my learning, particularly within AI. A year ago, I knew very little to nothing. And now, because of AI, I've had access to information to be able to create, custom GPA or GPTs and whatever it may be. I mean, right now I'm trying to learn N8N, and I'm using ChatGPT to help me learn that particular tool. And, pre AI days, or at least my use of AI days, I just wouldn't have had access to the information and would have never had the confidence to create my own GPT or all of the different things that I've created through my experimentation. So for that, it has kind of built up my confidence in my learning journey. And then even in decision making, we took a 2-week vacation to Korea, and I relied heavily on ChatGPT to help create the itinerary.
Amazing.
So it made life a lot easier. So I don't know.
Amazing.
I
We have to
rambled a
catch up
little
on
bit.
your Korea trip.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
but that is great. I love that. Oh my God, I love all these answers. So it seems that it has been very positive, right? And Olena, did you go? Did you share yet?
No, I mean, I agree with everybody's thoughts on this. It's definitely one of the best things that happened in the recent years in technology for us. There are definitely amazing benefits, and it's part of our lives now, this beautiful AI. But I do worry about potential risk of, I don't know how to put it in words, sort of like reducing your critical thinking in a way sometimes, just because you're over relying on it. And it may not apply to all the tasks that you use AI for, and it's mostly maybe for a personal use or like effective communication use. But I do find it that it's, there is a risk of over relying on it and kind of like delegating your thinking to it too much at times. You basically know you have this tool, you can quickly ask it a question or whatever, you're going to get the results, and therefore you're not going deep in your analysis or your critical thinking. So that's where my worry is, especially in our, children's ability to continue using their critical thinking, because for those of you who have children, you know how savvy they are with using AI in doing homework. So, that's where my worry is, in addition to all the amazing benefits of AI.
Okay, awesome. No, that's great. I really appreciated everybody's responses, and they were mostly like very, very positive. So that's great. So let's move on to our third question, and this is the last question. I think we're doing very good on time. That group is still chatting and they're still on question 1. Okay, so let's go to our last question, which says, are we creating cognitive inequalities between those who know how to use AI well and those who don't? I can repeat the question. Are we creating cognitive inequalities between those who know how to use AI well and those who don't? And who wants to go first? Sherry, I know you want to.
I'll do it again, and I will tell you, I've got a major project with several hundred people who are advanced staged. I will tell you right now, it's no different. You guys, I love listening to your answers because you forget so easily that before the internet, you would rely as students on very limited things. Your job choices would be very limited. You would be assigned to specific research. And look at a mere 30 years later, anybody can go to deep research. The people I'm doing the project with, this advanced stage, suddenly it's like a switch has gone off. The ones who are not participating, they're living their same lifestyles, their same habits. The ones who are using it, it is, if you remember a man's name named Oliver Sacks, very famous. He's dead now. He was a neurosurgeon, psychologist, and he wrote a book called Awakenings. There's a movie, Robin Williams actually played him, where the people who had a neurodegenerative disease came alive. And that is how I feel of the have AI access and the don't use it. The ones who are using it are just like a a pebble on a pond. Their world is expanding neurologically. Their excitement, their enthusiasm is overwhelming. We have people who are listening to podcasts for the first time. And yes, the tools that we were using is voice command through Alexa, but then we use ChatGPT, and we'll put groups together and we'll write a poem, for example. There'll be 3 to 5 people and they'll prompt, and they're alive. I mean, these are people who are in their 80s suddenly talking about, oh, let's do something different next time. And although that's beyond your scope, or just think of your parents, I guess, think of your parents using AI and how that would change their perspective and their interest level, because they have the ability and the green light to explore. I have as much right to explore what you're exploring. And 30 years ago, that did not exist. You would get a job, you would have the responsibility of that job, and only if you had a quote hobby would you probably expand it with ever your interest groups. Remember, meetups didn't even exist until 15 years ago, where people would get together and use the internet to expand things like looking up Google. I mean, Google, the old Google just seems like, a dinosaur, right? So that's my perspective of the have and the have-nots, because I live it every day with people who don't have it and suddenly acquire it, and it's magic. It's magic.
Okay, so basically you're trying to say those, yes, they exist, but once they have access to it, it's magic. So it's just a matter of time. Is that what
It's a
you say?
tool.
Then
It's
it's a
it's
tool,
it's a
yeah.
tool that it's something that if you're not using it, look, if you're doing a proposal old school and you're not using it, and I'm using AI, I'm going to
Yeah.
bet you I'm going to beat you and win that grant because
Yes,
I've used
yes,
research that is much more robust than the time that you would have
yep.
doing it the other way.
So it is creating inequality. And it seems like we
Totally.
all need to get on that bandwagon. Like, believe it or not, like, why, if you can use a car to get, somewhere sooner, why would you walk, right? So good. I like that. Who wants to go next? Come on, Akash. I'm looking at you.
Well, so are we creating cognitive inequality? So yes, of course, like because of all the advantages that the AI has to offer in different fields. So those who don't use AI, like absolutely. But what I think is that's same with any technology, like, when there were like typewriters and pagers to like laptop, so, or like computer systems, right? So are we creating inequality for a person who has access to only typewriters versus like systems? Sure. So what I believe is that like AI is a technology wherein, it's growing fast, and I'm sure everybody will, adopt the new technology, just like how typewriters don't exist now, but I think the growth is even more exponential. It's not linear, wherein, it took few years before the typewriters were out of style, but I feel like AI will grow. The adoption of AI will be much more exponential to an extent wherein, uh, this might not be even a question about like an inequality. So that would be the pace with which people would adopt new technologies for, their own. But again, this might be like a question for debate as well. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like your thought, and immediately
Yeah.
I'm always very, I've been thinking a lot about this whole digital divide, right? Especially global digital divide. So advanced countries like United States of America and other developed parts of the world where you readily have internet available, so people have access to these tools. But what about small villages where or places, remote around the world in Africa, right, where you don't even get regular internet, right, like high bandwidth internet. So what about those folks, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
um, So it always
So
worries me. Yeah, go ahead, Akash.
yeah, so Vika, I think like when I talk about AI on different platforms, I always say like focus on the problem first, solution next. And so this is a problem, like accessibility to simple internet in like third world countries. Now, can we use AI to sort of like solve that, or to
I
our
like that.
advantage, if we actually, so maybe you can use AI to get that, and then get those like developing countries or underdeveloped countries to the same platform, same playing field. And then like that's how we push the technology further. So uh, I think these are the decisions that has to be made at a
Mhm.
like
Global level. Yeah.
global global level. But I think having a level playing field, and then we could like progress like humanity from then on. But I think right now we're at a stage wherein yes, we do think about, okay, these other countries don't have access to internet, access to like even electricity. But now if AI is actually making like great progress everywhere, why can't AI do like help us in achieving that? So
No, great
yeah.
points. Okay, love that. Okay, needs to go next? Olena, you want to go next?
Sure. I mean, just like already said, there's definitely going to be a gap and unequal opportunity for somebody who has AI knowledge versus somebody who doesn't. So, to Akash's point, it'd be great to see if we can use AI to make sure that people continue getting educated, especially in those countries that do not have access to this as easily as we do here. But yeah, I mean, the job market is changing because of very AI right now. It's completely transforming. I mean, maybe jobs like, hairdressers or, where you need your hands mostly, they may not be affected by it as much, though I do see how all of these services now are moving on to AI tools, to appointments, to do other parts of that job that are now outsourced to AI tools. So very often there's probably not going to be a skill left that's not affected by AI. So it definitely creates inequalities in the way that those who get to that education first will definitely have an advantage versus those who do not have access to AI education and training. Yeah.
Okay, no, that was very helpful. Thanks. Who wants to go next now? Tammy or Nipa, who wants to go first?
I
Yeah, I'll go.
totally agree. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so totally agree with Charlie and Akash and everyone has mentioned here. I do see five inequalities. Like I've seen my son when coming back, and then in school they say that the kids are doing the ChatGPT, search it out, their homeworks. When some kid they doesn't do that, right? So I feel that's it inequality when the teacher, look at the submission of the homework, their answer sheet, right? So it does. So I think it should be used by everyone. It's a good tool, but yeah, we should do it cautiously. We don't just copy paste that. Yeah, used as a search tool rather than using the answers from there.
Okay, that's interesting. Tammy?
Yeah, I think we have a responsibility to enable AI literacy in the adult workforce, at all levels, those who are just entering the workforce and those who are, exiting, but also more importantly, to drive the AI literacy at the elementary years, because it's, it's another tool, as everyone said. And so how do we properly utilize a tool to get access to information, to synthesize the information, and to solve problems? And this is an AI literacy, massive project that we have got to solve immediately.
Love it.
I mean,
Love it.
really.
Love it. I love it. Okay, Tabby. So this was good. And I love what you said about AI literacy. So let's go back. Those folks are already back. So now we need to discuss with everybody. So awesome. So see you all there. We
But do you guys think that people should use ChatGPT for email? Because if you can't write a basic email, there's people at my job who say, let me just put it in ChatGPT. And I said, these are people who have senior managers. If you can't write a basic email, should I be trusting you for anything? Like, you know?
That is true. That is true. All
Did
right.
we
Do we
lose
have everybody
some?
back?
We lost Sherry
Uh,
in the process.
I had just said that let's leave the room and just come back here. So I don't know what happened.
Was
Padmini, do you
she?
want to just, she had gone off camera. Can you just message her 1 second? But Evan, so now we're going to say, oh, there she is. Yeah, I think your point is valid. And I also feel that for tasks like email, we should not use it, because one of the things is we all know that it's very easy to get so complacent because these tools are so good. And email is at least like a basic thing where you like, using your critical reasoning skills and thinking. And I mean, Padmini and I have this joke the other day. I think we were working on some other side project, and I had, and I didn't use, so I don't use ChatGPT for emails, and Padmini also doesn't use it. And Padmini was like, this is really detailed. I was like, I feel very proud that, I didn't use ChatGPT for it. Like, thank God I can still think. But yeah, you're right. It's,
Do
I
we
mean,
also risk sounding the same? Over time, I think we all
Yeah.
will, since we see how ChatGPT responds and you keep reinforcing it in your mind. So do you feel that we'll all start sounding the same? Like maybe not like this generation, but like, 2 generations down, will they all sound the same is what I fear. There will be no variety in thinking, but then yeah, I think we are all focused on ChatGPT for writing, but or LLMs. Let's not. When I say ChatGPT, I'm using it as another word for LLMs. I don't mean it as ChatGPT itself, but there is so much more beyond just writing. Our survey saw that all of us, like 50% of us, use it for writing, but there's so much more beyond that we should use it for, and we can use it, So yeah, Uvika, you want to, do we put these questions down? So we can.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll quickly go over what our room
Yeah.
discussed. So like schools should be teaching critical thinking, and we have to learn to iterate. When we ask a question, we shouldn't get that, use the first response as the only response. Well, I think Patty also shared that because of ChatGPT, she is less social now. She feels less social because it answers all your questions. You don't really have to go out and ask anybody else. And then, yeah, thanks, Jill, for sharing that. So then, what makes us unique is our unique way of thinking and our different experiences. So there was that feeling that we are losing that. Am I going too fast?
Yeah.
I
I'm like an
can
old lady right now. Okay, yeah, tell me, what was the second question and what did you guys come up
becoming.
with?
Yeah, I think all of us can write so that
Actually, yeah, that's better. Why don't you all write your findings? So in the cognitive pillar, whatever were your thoughts and main takeaways, guys, please feel free to just dump it in there.
And create another column for the
Yeah, I'll
ethical
create for
and-
the ethics one. Yeah. Save me some work. Thank you, Padmini. Where's my thinking?
Guys, let's go. Let's everyone start writing.
And I'm going to put question 1 here. And what was the question on the first one? Let me double check.
Question 3.
Gets to decide with AI design. Sherry, you want to put, or I can also put? I remember I was taking some notes.
I wrote all of it down.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll show you. except the last part. I had to take a phone call that I could not
Don't
take.
worry.
Okay, so um okay.
Separate bodies.
So I'm
Let me
not sure how to do this.
It's okay. This
Oh,
okay.
here, I'll put it in the chat and you tell
Yeah.
me how you want to hold on. Okay. I'm going to put it, and I did it 1, 2, 3 in
Ian
terms of the
Tripp, do you want to
questions.
add yours too?
Do you want me to put the questions first? Because here, this is 1. This is 1. This is 2, actually.
I think what would also be helpful is, so while you're putting it, Sherry, and I know that each of the folks, who had points, so let me also read out, right? Like what people said.
Okay. So I actually summarized the 1, 2, and 3, what our group said, except in 3, I lost it after you talked about the divide.
Yeah, no worries. That's fine. So I think for ours, the very first question when we had that who gets to decide with AI design. So a lot of people said that it should be the folks who are in the weeds, right? The software engineers, the folks who are developing the technology. And I think Akash had an interesting point that in the field he's in with breast cancer, he's like, there is a discordance, right, between the computer scientists and the users. And he felt that ultimately, yes, it needs to come down to the software engineers, the core AI folks who are building. And in his mind, he felt that they also need to understand the regulatory frameworks, right? They need to understand why governance is important because they don't think about those kind of things, right? So I thought that was very useful. And then Tammy had a very interesting point. She said, we might be too late because some of the LLMs have been already built, and we may or may not have the time or the opportunity to make the adjustment. But she felt that in terms of who gets to design, it's all of us. It's just not the data scientists. It's the persons, everybody who's using it. She's like, it's a system, right? Rather than one person dictating it. So thought that was very, very valuable. And then everybody had very complimentary comments related to that. So Elena had similar thoughts around it. Niba had, something similar. And Sherry said that it varies. It varies who is doing it, right? Like from an entrepreneur's perspective, it might be very different, right? From somebody who's in the job, it might be very different, right? So interesting viewpoints on that.
We
Then,
so one
yeah, go
thing
ahead.
that we also discussed was sort of this whole roundtable was spurred by that MIT research, right? Now, this research was so small, 54 people, 4 months. We don't even know the long-term impact. And they still put it out there, And like Evan said, these kind of headlines go viral, they catch everybody's attention, and now you have like this raging debate going on. But this is not just the first one. There'll be a follow up to this one. So I think we have to pause and sort of understand yes, the way we think will get impacted. There are no two ways to that. The way we think will get impacted, but how each one of us consumes the LLM, it will be, that'll determine the extent of that impact. Kind of, if we are cognizant of how we are using it. So just, I'm not throwing this by putting in here by, questions, but more so just cognition and ethics. So I'm going to make this big so that we have it.
Yep, no, that sounds good. And then I think for our second question, when it talks about confidence, and how it affects the decision making, overall, it was very, very positive, for us. So just to kind of summarize. And please, Akash, Nibha, Lena, if you feel I miss out something, please feel free to jump in and add. So what we heard from folks was that that especially, and Sherry has like an interesting point. She was like, from her point, it has definitely made her journey very easy, especially when she's trying to apply for grants, and it makes the job very easy. She compared herself to like someone who her 30-year-old, right? When, she had to basically look at the speed and the agility and the way she works, it's made her much better and much faster. And she can crank out these grand documents and she feels very confident the way she uses it. And then Akash had something very interesting. He works in, the pathology field, and he said that there is a huge shortage of pathologists around the world. And what he has seen is because there's a shortage, there is often not only burnout, but there's also misdiagnosis, because there would be people coming with different viewpoints and they may not be able to come to an agreement, right? So they have a lot of disagreement because they're not seeing things from the same lens. And because now AI is able to highlight certain features which are not visible to the naked eye, as a result of those additional features being available, people are able to come to an agreement faster, right? So it's making the decision making faster. And he also said that there is quicker agreement, and he said it's better for solving problems. So overall, he felt that it was very positive.
We had a similar thing with I think Patty, if you would like, I know we have like 3 minutes to go, but we about a 1970s research that was redone using, and Patty, correct me if I'm saying this incorrectly, which was redone um, using LLMs, and there were gaps that were identified in the research that was done back then that the LLM could now easily identify. So it helped kind of, broaden the thinking of the researchers. So that was a positive spin on using LLMs. So that was our second question, was about it helping to identify gaps and biases. So it does help in that. And our third question was, is prompt engineering a new skill? And it definitely is, because I think the way we prompt is how we get the response back. And Evan, if you want to share the ladder of inference that you talked about.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Deloitte used a experiment, and they said prompt using your favorite tool. So some of us picked ChatGPT, some of us picked Anthropic, and we went in there and they said just write something that you need, like how do you start a business or do something. Write a normal question you would ask. So we wrote it, and then they made us watch a video called the ladder of inference, which is a psychological technique that questions assumptions. And they said you have to question, it was this amazing psychological video. And then they said, apply everything you learned in the video to your prompt. And they gave us a checklist, and they say, make sure you use this, question this, question this. My prompt turned into 5 paragraphs if I included everything. And they said, feed the new prompt and send us your new output. And when I compared the output, I submitted it to them, they couldn't believe the difference. And they said, imagine if everyone went through the ladder of inference. Their responses would change. They would never use the original response. So the results were so dramatic, they wanted to publish the results in the Harvard Business Review, and they're contacting you guys might see this in the next month or two, and they wanted to use me and some other people because the results were so dramatic. And I said, I'm going to do this, and it's not even using system prompt. It's using your prompt and just I'm going to send this article to you, Uvika and Padmina, and hopefully you can use this and test this even when you teach middle school, grade school. I want to see what a difference this makes and why everyone is not using this right now. So it's called ladder of inference, and it made such a big difference. All my prompts are now using this.
Amazing. And
Awesome.
the I think one last thing that I just wanted to touch upon was what Patty shared was, as a researcher, basically as research, it's very difficult to do research, and what you trust is your gut instinct. And by using LLMs, are we killing that, that gut instinct? Or we can also think of it on the flip side, is to think of it as being able to identify, these different LLM responses. Will that become the new gut instinct? So that is something to think about. And if anyone has any thoughts about that too, feel free to, unmute.
Yeah, that was actually very, very interesting. I think the whole thing about gut, you know me, Padmini. I'm always like all about like gut instinct. So for our third question, which was the last one, where we talked about, is leveraging AI going to create cognitive inequalities for those who have access to it versus those who don't? So I think everybody agreed that yes, it is going to create cognitive inequalities. So Sherry was like, hey, those who have access to it, she was like, I can crank stuff out way faster. And, ladies and folks and men who are older, who are behind, they're going to be left behind. So people need to catch up. Niba had some interesting points, and Elena also said that, yes, it's good. Niba said that she does hear children talk about using AI, but she also feels that there needs to be caution, right? People need to treat with caution. And Akash said that, hey, that's the AI adoption will be at an exponential level, the way already like how it's advancing and how the user base is expanding so fast. And I loved what Tammy said. She said that there's a big AI literacy gap. And she was like, to make sure that we reduce the inequality, we have a responsibility to make sure that we close that gap quickly. And to some of those points, my take was that, yes, I agree to all of those things, but in developed countries where we have, high speed internet, where we have access to these tools, it's great, right? People are going to adopt. Eventually, people will be able to jump onto the bandwagon. But what about the global digital divide, especially in countries where you don't even have high speed internet, right? Like you don't even have water, man. Like, it's a problem in, certain places like Africa and all those places. But I loved what Akash said to that. He said, how about, we take it to the flip side. Why can't AI be used to solve those problems, right? Like where we don't even have access to internet. Like how do we close the gap? Yeah. And I loved, what he said. He was like, let's flip it, right? Like wherever there's a problem, let's use AI to, fix that problem. So I thought overall, like the discussion was very positive. I think everybody had like great viewpoints. Akash, Olena, Sherry, Niba, Tammy, if you want to add anything, please feel free to do so and add on the whiteboard as well.
Anyone wants to add? Yeah, I can see Akash and Olena.
No, Vika, I think that was a great summary, that you presented for all the three questions. And yeah, I think love to hear other perspectives for the ethics side, for the cognitive side as well. And, uh, always interested to hear from the other, because I've been in the field of AI for a little over 10 years now. Got my PhD in developing AI, where from my advisor, his PhD advisor was Jeffrey Hinton, who is the father of AI.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I have got trained like very harsh in the domain at Carnegie Mellon. So
Amazing.
yeah, so I was specifically asked not to touch even a computer, and I was just given a pen and paper to write those mathematical algorithms that now we are using. So I have got a first-hand experience of developing these AI models like right from scratch, and to see where it is right now, I think it's quite fascinating. And again, when Jeffrey Hinton thinks about explainable AI and all that, like he focuses on the very very basic things, and so again, I'm very happy to be on this like very casual conversation as to like how are we thinking about AI and in different directions. So.
Yeah, Akash, is Jeffrey Hinton surprised at the speed? Like, I don't think anyone would have estimated the speed of AI. Yeah.
Yeah, when he published the backpropagation paper, then this was like 1980s, and he did not envision that it would like grow at this fast scale. And now LLMs came in and boom, uh, he didn't imagine the speed with which we were sort of like adopting AI. And again, not even now, and maybe like 7 years back when I was doing my PhD, we were all focusing on what it means to truly build explainable AI frameworks that talk the language of domain experts and all that. And that's when he always focuses on first principles, but he's fascinated in the same way as how we are. So
it's really interesting you're saying that, Akash. So about 5 years back, and I'm nowhere near your level of PhD knowledge, but I was just doing like I wanted to understand machine learning. So I was doing a course, and because we didn't have ChatGPT back then, the backpropagation algorithm actually, like line by line, I was writing it to see what is the next level, what is the next, and it was
nice.
such an interesting way because to do so you have to do like the analysis, the statistical or the probabilistic analysis, and then you come to
Exactly.
the
But
next
when
line.
was that? Was it in 2019? It's 2019?
In 2019, 2020, that's when I did this whole thing.
I think you and I were doing our thing at the same time in different worlds.
I know.
Yeah.
So line by line, I still have those. It looks like junk paper, but I hold it like prized possession because
amazing.
it is done by hand. But this, I mean, I know we are over, and we've not even scratched the surface of this discussion. But really, thank you guys for just coming.
Thank you.
And,
thank you all.
We hope you enjoyed it. We'll do a summary on it as well.
Any feedback on the format if we want to do such roundtables in the future? Any feedback on the format?
What did you enjoy most, and what you didn't like?
Can I be honest?
Yes,
Sherry, you're always honest.
I am very much older than all of you, and I'm going to say to you, this is very elementary. This discussion tonight, all of you are much more dialed in, and we could have gone way deeper. Akash, I've been reading Super Agers, and I've followed CRISPR for years now, and the revolution started a while back, and so these are not new crumbs. We're going at a speed that is so extraordinary. I mean, I thought I had to learn Python 6 months ago from something Noel Russell was doing in the thing that brought Padmini and Uvika and I together. I don't have to. I can drag and drop. I'm going to get one of my 80-year-old people, and they're going to build an autonomous agent because they can drag and drop now through Google. And you should wake up to that because you're all highly educated. You can take people, and you can see this, who are making lots of money because AI has given them the express lane to connect their entrepreneurial juices to execution. And so the big question is, how much will all of you take what AI is giving your neurons, and how are you going to execute? Are you going to stay? For me, it's not a question, oh my God, I'll be left behind. No, I know that I'm at the front in terms of being able to use the same tools you can. It is democracy at its best. AI is democratized, and that is what's so exciting. because the race is on. When I look, I was in venture capital before some of you were born. And let me tell you, back then it was like, oh my God, we got to so-and-so because who knew they were doing magnets for the space station? I mean, stuff like you'd have to be going on hunts to find people who were brilliant. Now, brilliance is like, people are, blooming everywhere. Brilliance is blooming. Thank you, AI. And so that's exciting. And I'm challenging all of you because we're smarter than this elementary. Oh, it's really nice. Hey, look, my lens, I was at the beginning, literally, of the World Wide Web, not the internet back at the end of World War II, but the internet. And let me tell you, it was so exciting to go from, the yellow pages to, and look how long we've used web pages. Those are so antiquated. And you're going to see something in 2 years that's going to make tonight seem like we were in preschool. I mean it.
Yeah.
And we need to be on top of it and lead the dialogues. And we all, you guys, you're so programmed to say ethical and responsible. That train left a year ago. Left a year ago.
All right.
Okay.
All the time. I love you. All right. But thank you so much, everyone. Let us know your feedback. So this was one of the very first roundtables. We'll be having more sessions, but if you have suggestions on topics and format on how you want us to conduct this roundtable, we are all open to ideas.
Yeah.
As Sherry said, so we want to make sure that this is productive. This is an open space for everybody to come and share knowledge and learn from each other. So we welcome your suggestions, and
Please do,
thank you
please.
so much for coming. And Padmini, any other closing thoughts?
No, just
Thank you.
stay-
You guys even attempting this. You're so polite.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming on a Monday evening.
Yes.
Stay tuned for August. We have 2 amazing speakers coming up in August. So stay tuned. We'll be putting out
Should we
that
drop the
post.
beans? Who's coming? No, follow us on LinkedIn and we'll share. We have amazing speakers coming. The lineup is
Sorry.
getting more and more exciting. So have a good week and thank you so much for coming.
And by the
Thank
way,
you,
do you know
Uvika.
why I
Thanks.
couldn't post the notes from what I took?
That's fine.
Chat only allows 1,000 characters. And I had 1,100 and I kept reducing it. But you paid attention anyhow. So I apologize because I did
That's
actually take the
okay.
notes.
No worries. But if you want to send something, Sherry,
I'll send
you
it to
can.
you.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll send
All
it to
right.
you.
Do.
Thank
All
you
right,
It was
so
great
much.
to see all of these other AWAAs. That's the benefit of tonight. And 2 men will allow you the gender differences, but that's why I liked you guys were here.
No, thank
We
you.
are
Seriously,
diverse.
Because
Akash
if
and-
you notice, I am not a South Asian woman either, but there's
We
a story
encourage
behind that.
diversity. Yes, yes. We
Yeah,
encourage diversity.
and we should have Evan and Akash also to come and speak to the community. So
And I'm
Yes,
counting on
Akash
I'm
is
counting
already
on
on our
Akash.
thing.
We're counting on
Yes.
Akash to come up with saving us because I'm the super agers Topol.
By
Look,
the way, Akash already agreed. So Akash has said
Yeah.
that he is going to come and talk to our community because he specializes in a field which is very important for women as well. And I think he's been so deep in the AI space for a number of years. And Evan is our star.
yeah, Evan, thank you for supporting us. He's oh my
He's going
God.
to, yeah, he doesn't have a choice. Ultimately, he has to come one day. Sorry, Evan. So, all right. With that, I think I'm just going to close it. Have a good evening. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.